Billy knows it all. Billy had been very naughty over the last couple of days, and for his punishment, the Fat Controller forced him to shunt trucks and coaches in the yards every day, and Billy does not like that at all. One day he was shunting Duke's coaches to make Duke get ready for his express train. Billy was shunting Duke's coaches, and then Duke was still waiting patiently, and Duke was finally ready. And with that, Billy shunted Duke's coaches to Duke. Duke was finally coupled to the coaches, and off he steamed to the station. "Thank you, Billy," said Duke. "Thank you, Billy," said Duke. Billy ignored Duke and continued thinking about what happened to his behaviour. Just then he began to talk to himself. I don't need to say goodbye back to those that have still realised that I've been behaving so bad over the past few days," he said. I still hate them when they know that I've been silly every day," he said. "And by the way," he thought, "I don't even need to say goodbye to that old engine Duke," he sniggered nastily, and with that, he was off to do some more naughty things. He was off to the yards, and there he saw Stephen next to him. "And who are you supposed to be?" he said when he saw Stephen for the first time. "I'm Stephen," said Stephen, the new engine, but I'm also a rocket engine though." "Oh really?" said Billy. "That's kinda interesting," he said. I've heard that you have once lost your tender, didn't you?" "That was a long story," said Stephen. "And you seem to be, like, punished." Billy was redder than ever and snorted off. He hated being reminded about being grounded in the sheds and shunting trucks and coaches for the rest of the day, and he snorted obnoxiously away. He was off to Ellsworth Station to get ready to pull some passengers. Billy did not want to do it, but he had to. He arrived at Ellsworth Station at 9:15 and was ready to go. He backed forward to the carriage. He was coupled at last. The guard blew his whistle and Billy puffed away. But instead of going slower, Billy was speeding way too fast. The passengers were afraid and they hated it. "Steady, boy, steady," said his driver, but Billy ignored his driver and continued on. "Steady, boy," said his driver, but Billy was still ignoring his driver and continued being naughty. The passengers were angry with Billy and they wanted to get off the carriage. Just then, however, Billy was speeding way too fast. He was almost at the station until too late. He came derailed and there was no escape. Billy was in trouble at last. The driver and fireman were cross with him. "Happy now, aren't we?" he said. I bet we've all had enough of your nonsense," they said. The passengers looked at Billy's driver and fireman and complained. But before they were But before they were going to shout at Billy, Duke arrived at last, and out popped out was the Fat Controller. He spoke severely to Billy. "I thought I could trust you with the coaches," he said, "and I can't anymore." "I know, sir," said Billy, "but I had heard enough," said the Fat Controller. "You are going to be put in the sheds and to make you think about what you have done today," he said. "I bet I can't trust you with coaches any longer," he said. You can't pull coaches anymore. Instead of the coaches for the rest of the day, just the trucks then, and then go back in your shed for the rest of the days," he said. Billy was cross, and he did not like that at all. The passengers were pleased with what the Fat Controller said, and the Fat Controller told them he was sorry for what Billy had done. Stephen pulled Billy back on the rails. Billy couldn't move, so Duke had to pull him and take him back to the sheds. Stephen took charge of the carriage and puffed away with the passengers. And with that, Billy had already learned his lesson, and he knew he had been a really silly Billy all day.